What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Inside D3 show. I'm your host, Morgan Cheatham, back with a brand new intro for you guys. If you're one of our new viewers, then thank you for checking us out for the first time. If you're one of our day one viewers, then we appreciate you for sticking around since the beginning. So before we get started today, make sure you check us out on our website, InsideD3.com. Follow us on our Instagram and Twitter at D3Inside. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Inside D3 Athletics, where you can find all of our episodes as well. If you happen to be on the go and can't watch our videos, you can listen to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and Anchor. Also, be sure to check out the Mascot of the Week with Sam and any news that might drop in the meantime as well. And we got some good stuff planned for you guys for the summer, so we're definitely looking forward to that as well. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy the show. All right, so joining us today is Megan Morisson. She is the Executive Director of the Middle Atlantic Conference, arguably the best conference in the NCAA D3, but that's just, my biased opinion. But Megan, thank you for joining us on the show today. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start off with just, give us a real brief timeline of your journey through athletics. I know you've, had your hand in, not only Division III, but, also the Ivy League and things like that. So just kind of give us, and also a lot of playing experience too. So, talk about all of that and just give us a timeline of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It really starts, in my childhood. My parents valued education and valued forming your own path. And, athletics was something that I loved, and they let me follow that whichever way that I wanted. So that did take me to Bowdoin College, where I played a number of sports, because I think that's one of the most fabulous things about Division III is that it's possible to do that. So that really formulated my philosophy of where I believe athletics fits within higher education. And then found myself eventually in graduate school at Florida State, and didn't really know until that time that athletics and college athletics could be such a gigantic enterprise. I just had never encountered that size of institution before. And so it was a great learning experience for me, and found my way to NCAA compliance there at Florida State, and just really liked it. You get to sort of be a detective every day and help your school. And so I really liked that aspect of it. But I could tell that philosophically, I wasn't quite going to go down that path of those size institutions and that caliber of athletics even. So when I was presented with an opportunity to work at the Ivy League, I jumped at it. I think philosophically for me, especially within the model of Division I, they hold athletics in the place that's complementary to the whole academic enterprise, and that means a lot. But it's also a place where they compete at the highest level, and there's a lot of opportunities for student athletes. And I loved my time there. I learned a ton. So as we talked about the philosophy of it, it's a natural fit to move on to Division III. I like the conference work. I like juggling the different schools. I like managing all the different people, trying to get things accomplished on that large scale, helping navigate the NCAA landscape. So switching to Division III was a natural next step for me.
Definitely. So talk about playing, how many sports was it you said?
I think overall I played 4 different sports, but never in the same year.
That's really unheard of in whatever division, So I want to talk a little bit about how you were able to do that and, what made that decision possible for you.
Yeah, I got there as a freshman, and I had played 3 sports in high school. I played golf and ice hockey and softball. And it didn't really occur to me that I wouldn't just do that in college. And I didn't really intend to play golf, but I had reached out to the golf coach, and they only had a men's team. But he welcomed me and said, we'll find some tournaments, or you can join us, and play on the men's team. And so my first year I played golf and ice hockey and softball. And, maybe I didn't know any better as a freshman, but it certainly helped me formulate my days and my weeks and keep on top of academics, because you didn't have a choice. because time was just going to be so limited. But it also helped because those are three very different sports. And I learned to be a teammate in different ways. And that has served me, throughout my life, personally and professionally. And then one year I did slip in a season of rugby. So that was more for fun, but I loved it.
Just all over the place. That is wild. So I want to talk about the executive director position. Obviously you were just, named the executive director not too long ago. So you're starting your first, full season right now. So I want to talk about, how you ended up with this position and, what was the process like?
Yeah, so a colleague of mine actually gave my name to the search firm. This is one of those positions. It was conducted by a search firm, and they reached out to me, and I had looked over the years at different opportunities in Division III, and so knew I was interested enough to at least give it a shot and put my name in and see if it was something that would really appeal to me. Went through a couple rounds of interviews, and just with each round was more reaffirming that this could be the right change. I wasn't looking for a change. I loved my job in the Ivy League, and I probably could have stayed there for a long time. I still had things I wanted to accomplish, and as I said, it's a great model to be in. But this, was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up with the kinds of schools in the MAC, and even just the complexity of the size and the multiple conferences is very interesting. And it's a great conference within Division III, and had a lot of different sports. So I love that variety. So it just was the right fit. And this certainly wasn't the first couple weeks that I pictured back in February when I was offered the position, but I'm loving it nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to know, going into this new season, what are some of, the values and some of the ideas that you may want to put in place or are hoping to put in place for this, as you, find your way through the MAC?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I'm sort of asking myself that every day, especially as we're in this time right now where there's so much that's unknown and uncertain, and it's hard to plan ahead, right? I mean, new information is coming out all the time. We're having to make unprecedented decisions. So I think, this year I really want to focus on my own edification and what the MAC is all about, and the history and the changes and the nuances, and really dial back to the values of Division III and where we're continuing to align with those and where maybe some changes need to be made. I think another priority is very clearly diversity and inclusion. It's something that means a lot to the MAC conference and the MAC presidents, and that was made very clear through even my interview process. And so that's something that there needs to be some actionable steps, and we're going to take some time to think about that and be thoughtful. But that's definitely a priority over 2021, since that can be accomplished regardless of the competition, to be honest. I mean, we just don't know what that's going to look like, but we know we can take some other actionable steps in that area.
Yeah, I love hearing that that's like a priority for you guys this year. That's something I feel like is very timely. So
Yep.
I'm glad that that's, at the forefront, definitely. So, talking about that planning and obviously, a lot of uncertainty going into this season, what went into the process of you all deciding to, push back the fall season for right now?
Yeah, it was a number of things, and I'll mention three specifically. First is the national trends. At first, through the early months of March and April, we were trending in the right direction, and then it started to go back up, and it continued and it continued. And, our athletics directors have been meeting regularly. Our presidents have been meeting regularly, certainly on much closer intervals than they do in normal cycles, to track on all of this. And so we saw those trends just going in the wrong direction, and some even states within our own footprint rolling back some of the opening and reopening that they were starting to do. And so that was one telltale sign that we really needed to reevaluate and look closely. I think that also plays into the second point, which is there became clear at some point that in order to accomplish intercollegiate athletics, there's going to be a need for some level of testing. And at this point, the availability of testing, the cost of testing, the amount of time it takes to get results just isn't trending in the right direction either. Hopefully that will change over time as we get closer to winter and spring sports. But that was another facet. And, right now there are places where people who do have symptoms of COVID can't get tested. And so is it right, and should we be diverting testing to play college sports right now in this country? So that was something our presidents considered as well. And then finally, because of the trends and because of the atmosphere right now, our presidents are thinking about the kinds of policies that they're going to have on their campuses to keep students and faculty and communities safe. And a lot of that includes policies against having guests come to campus, and policies that students shouldn't be traveling off of that far from campus when they're on. And so those combined also make it very difficult to operate intercollegiate athletics. And so I think all of those kind of come together, and it became clear to our presidents the direction.
So what are you hoping to see, for the remainder of the season, or what do you hope will happen for the remainder of the season, as far as, possible participation and actual competition going on? What are you hoping to see?
Yeah, I think two things primarily. I mean, I hope I see our student athletes continue to enroll and continue to progress to their graduation and continue to make the most of the time that they have in college, no matter how different that looks. I'm confident our coaches will engage our student athletes in ways that are creative and new and different. So first of all, I hope that students will continue on their educational path. And then secondly, I hope that there are advancements in testing, that there are advancements in the trends, that hopefully we can have a reversal, we can flatten that curve. And that the ultimate hope for me would to be at an intercollegiate game at some point in the 2021 academic year. And hopefully, as close to January 2021 as possible. So I think that, but it has to be safe, and it has to be, done the right way. And if it's without fans, that's fine. There's a lot of ways that it's going to look different, even if we get to a point of having intercollegiate competition again. But I think that's the goal for this year.
So my last question for you, Megan, we always ask, what is the reason that, people chose Division III? So besides the fact that Stevenson University is, a great school within that conference, I want to know just what made you choose Division III as your home right now.
Yeah, I think I'll sort of reiterate what I said in the beginning. Division III athletics plays, a vital role on campuses, but it's complementary to the whole academic enterprise and doesn't overwhelm students. It fits in, and it's, complements what they're trying to do in the classroom and socially and within their communities. And I believe that's the right framework. And so that's why I'm here.
Sounds good. I like it. So that's all I have for you, Megan. Again, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. Best of luck to you in this crazy season that, we're about to take on, but we definitely wish you the best on it.
Thank you, Morgan. Thanks for having me.
No. So that does it for another episode of the Inside D3 Show. Thank you guys again for checking in. Stay tuned for more episodes. We drop them every Wednesday on all of our platforms. Also, stay connected on all of our platforms for any stories that might drop during the week as well. And also stay locked in for the Mascot of the Week with Sam V. Rock right after this, and you do not want to miss that. So, once again, I'm Morgan Cheatham. This is the Inside D3 Show, and we are signing off.